Hello, happy morning, happy Friday. Congratulations for making it. We had some announcements, but not really. Not really anything that we didn't know. My eyes are heavy because I've been coding all night for one problem, and it's my fault. Hello, party people. I hate when I say that. I don't like when I say that. Hello, folks. Welcome to the Build Show. My name is Potter. I am. I'm so tired. The show is about not giving financial advice, but kind of walking you along as we go through this journey. One of the roads that we've taken is with Mr. Forex Shark. A lot of us are all in. I used to be on Phantom and Drip equally, but then I was like, you know what? Let me go over to all Forex, and then what we're going to talk about today. We started happening. Promises. Delivery happens, but So that's a critique of what I've seen, and I'm tired, so probably going to be saying a lot more directness. The funny part is I can relate with Forex in a way, because I could have pushed past all of this about a week ago, but I didn't, because I wanted to be perfect. I don't want it to be average. I want the security in place. So last night, when I thought that I'd gotten past a hurdle, I end up stuck in the same place. But I figured it out. I couldn't go to sleep. I woke up, went back to the code, and I figured it out and added an enhancement. But I do volunteer work on Fridays, so I've been up all night. I figured out something, but then I've got to go out and deliver Meals on Wheels. So let's see who is here. Hey, Cole. Happy Friday. Let's get to the Forex stuff. So Forex is really talking. He's changed them from AMAs to VCs, just a voice conference. And when you look at $70 million in pigs, and then the way it's divided across the pools, the farms. Let me stop looking over here. The pools, the farms, and the products, which will eventually add PLINKO there. It's easy to see why Forex is going this route. A lot of us are drip network people, and we just want to see drip. We want to see DDD, because we know that'll pump our bags versus this one. So what we've seen a lot of, and I've talked about it before, is we're kind of in Forex's wheelhouse right now. What I mean by that is Forex, when we knew him in 2021, he was really talking about how he set up people coming on board, pumping securities or whatever. He would create the campaigns for them, maybe do some programming if needed. But the guy really knows how to do that. And when you take a look at the PLINKO and all the advertising, and you compare that to what we used to have, that just looked like it was going to go to another degen site that was going to promote it partially. It did not look as good as it does now. But we still have to remember one fundamental thing. I think it was October. We were told maybe November, December. Now, I wrote that off because he doesn't release stuff during the holidays. He just doesn't do it. But I held out hope. But then we were told January. That didn't happen. We were told February. That didn't happen. And now we're in March, and we were told at the beginning, hey, it's going to be early March. But on yesterday's VC, he said late March, which means April, which means that one of my predictions was it's got to be May. Might be truthful. And, it's harder for me because as a risk-based person, I'm placing my bets on when to build and when to take out. And, I am living off passive income way early. So, but it's still okay. With that being said, I just want to learn how to trust dates and not just listen and roll my eyes and see things with a drip network. But I'm not Forex, and anytime I can take my money and go elsewhere. But there's nobody better in the DeFi space than him, in my opinion. It just brings up fear that whether he hits the date or not, that, piggy bank, we listened to many, many AMAs. It all made sense, but then it was abandoned. I go back to Apple and comparing him to Steve Jobs because Apple definitely tells you about things and then abandons it. But right now, we're looking at $70 million that he has to play with. Not to play with, he's got capital on the side. We know this is his side hustle, and we know that he plans on building something very big. So it's just a seesaw of emotions when it comes to, do I believe or do I not believe? When you have $70 million staring you in the face, it's hard not to believe that, he's onto something. Now, what I wanted to talk about as well is a lot of the news that we saw yesterday. And this ties in a little bit to the publishing. So as you can see, this is really called Market Watch, but it's actually put out by Distributed Ledger. And so when I was in the consulting world and I had to do cybersecurity assessments, some of them included advertising companies. And so I got to understand the way it works. And there's plenty of publishers out there who sell their content to agencies like MarketWatch, Yahoo Finance, Bloomberg, as like subcontracting, but they do it in an automated way. There's auctions. You can name what price you want to pay, where you want it on the page, and you can kind of get some turnover from that. But it's still just kind of it's not a shell game, but it is manipulation of perception. So one of the ways I really got to find out about this was there's a Cardano coin that got released. It was going to be one of the first ones. And I was like, okay, I'll take some of my Cardano and see where it goes. It was a rug. But one of the reasons I believed in it is because it had MarketWatch behind it. And so then I started seeing the same article written the exact same way on other sites with big names. But then I would scroll down and I would see that it would credit this one agency, this publishing house. So I went to the publishing house and they were really dismissive. They didn't really talk about the articles or where they got them. And so I finally got in contact with one person and he was like, I don't know anything about it. And I was telling him, hey, you're defrauding people. It makes it look like this is from Google or one of these big magazines or MarketWatch. And it's actually just a feed that you brought because you heard that it has some level of SEO. And by bringing those people to your page, you get a share of the advertising revenue for just when the page displays. So advertising is great, but as informed investors, we now want to see dates and we want to see things hit. I'm more excited about poker. He talked about, like I told you guys, I don't like gambling, but poker is a legit sport. So, but it's still Forex. And so when he says he's about a 5-month out person now, and it's going to expand to 6. If he said something It's not that it's not going to roll out, but you have to be more patient than patient, and you shouldn't be depending on the ecosystem to necessarily support you unless you got in 2021 like I did, or you got in 2022 and before everything went, and you just put in enough money that you can get this. I'm so tired. What's it called? I just said it. The income, passive income on the side, because it's still paying kind of nice. So this, what I'm showing you now, this is kind of duplistic. On one end, we have a platform that we're waiting for it to hit dates and for things to happen. But on the other hand, we have something major that happened this week with the Fed noticing that, hey, we may have pushed too far, but we can't tell yet. So we're going to keep pushing, but maybe we'll pull it back more than we said. And what was interesting was people, for the first time, said, hey, I think that I'm going to run towards crypto a little bit. And that is a place where if you're in drip or if you're an animal farm, that's good news, because when people do start coming in, they're going to want to see what's been around a long time and what's paying. And both drip and animal farm have been paying since the second release. The first release for drip, second release for animal farm. Different projects. You had dogs, which we thought it was going to be dogs roulette, which I'm glad it wasn't, and it's piggy PLINKO. But the mechanics inside of the actual platform still support investors, still supports investor growth. And when you see news like this, how crypto is surviving the banking woes, that's good news. That's good news for us as investors. And again, not financial advice, but it's just a good sign that people are seeing what a lot of us saw 2 or 3 years ago. My friend Scott saw it about 10 years ago. So this is all good, and it's going exactly where we're saying it was going to go. The last one I want to show you is Fidelity. Fidelity holds like literally almost everybody's 401k, and they're buying Bitcoin. There's $41 trillion sitting out in risk capital that wants to come in. But what would bring them in? Well, one of the things that you've been hearing a lot more of is CDBC. Oh, what's that? Well, if you go back months ago, last year, one of the things I explained to Matt was, I think that the Fed can take a look at banks now and go, hey, we didn't want to give money directly to people. We wanted you to hold the money and then give it to people. But what has happened is, for some banks, you give them the money, they act like it's theirs, which is similar to what we saw for all of the crypto crashes. They took your money and went to somewhere else. We saw that with the crash in 2008 with lenders taking money and saying, hey, I'm going to go buy these default credit swap things, whatever it was, for the housing bubble. One sec. And that was them taking our money and going, hey, we're going to invest in it. And when there was a bank run, there wasn't enough money there. The people who've lasted are people like in the crypto space or Binance. There's one other, but I don't know their name. Oh, I think Phantom has also lasted. They have what they have on hand, so there's no need to say, oh my God, we used your money to go somewhere else. But what you see is people looking at traditional places, looking at crypto as a place to go. But why? Why would they do that? Well, the CDBC is a mechanism for the Fed to go direct to consumer. With this token, with a ledger, if you pair it with anything, they know exactly how much you make because they have your wallet address and they can tell you how much you're going to be taxed and what you did with it. But they're really specifically, I think, trying to take on stable coins, because before there was the greenback, coal companies gave out their own kind of coin. I think railroads had their own kind of coin. So this isn't new. We're reintroducing something that's been around before. Uh, and when you take a look at the regulation around banking, and I was kind of there, like I was there, and I saw that the regulation causes quite a bit of assessments that have to be done. To do assessments, you have to have policies and process in place. It's a lot to do. But with this push to CDBC, it's a lot more transparent, a lot more transactional, where you have a ledger that can show exactly what they did, exactly what was made. You incorporate AI and it's just... So around the time that all of this stuff is going to launch, allegedly, for the drip community, a lot of this FUD around, is the government going to come in and take away crypto? No. They're in the game. I don't know how many times the Fed chair had to say, the big boys, but the little guys we think are worthless, and they're a secondhand token. So we're not really going to go after, this is my interpretation, we're not really going to go after them like the big boys, the people who are impersonating banks. So that kind of puts us in a safer space, right? I hope a lot of that made sense. I'm tired and I'm talking. Ugh. So I've got somebody on, shocker, somebody on Twitch saying something that is not what we want to say. Okay, so that's really it, guys. I'm kind of all over the place. At the same time, I think it's a cohesive thought with a little bit, March Madness continues, a little bit of disappointment in still not having drip community news. Okay, good. Thanks, dude. Because otherwise, without you, I'm talking to myself. You know that, right? Let's see. I want to get the goodbye music going. So, it's so weird to be able to relate with a guy that you're like, hurry up, but I should hurry up. I should be done with my code, but you just can't rush code. It's just not smart. And when you're a perfectionist, it makes it even harder. I think he is. And he also knows that, he's putting himself on blast to say, my name is Forex Shark. I'm introducing a $70 million asset pool to promote this platform, which is going to encourage growth specifically within DeFi gaming space, but also the investor space itself. It's a big one, but I think he can do it. I just have to see it. A lot of us, we just have to see it. It's not a trust thing anymore. He did mention that there's something brewing for drip. Who knows? But a good tease. He's great at teasing. That's his forte. But set your expectations for May. Don't go for April, right? Because if he is not saying he's going to give a date, like he said something to the effect of, thought I saw something, so that's why I stopped. He said something to the effect of it'll be the end of March, but it's not official. So I'm thinking May, but I think the majority of us, especially if you're watching Drip Network Forex, I've said this before, we don't care about the pig pen or the animal farm other than him hitting his dates and rolling things out. And then, as he said last year, he's going to release, this is my roadmap, this is where I'm going, this is where I'm going to go. Now, if somebody's been operating somewhere for 2 years, I don't necessarily think they're going to change. Hey, Mitchell. This is my diatribe about how tired I am. And Cole and Mitch, change of time. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yep, change of time. Yes. We do, we do. So let me get this off. So I'm excited about what I'm doing. I'm excited about the market in general. Up and up. But as a drip maxi, a drip head, I'm at 14,000 drip now. And it's just going faster and faster and faster. And it's really starting to make a difference. Like whatever we lose, I tend to just make it up in a couple of days to put it back where it was before it slipped. But we know that drip is a liquidity problem. And once we have that utility that we're going to be jumping like nobody's business, that is our belief. That's why we're in it. And all signs point to that is true. But our founder kind of is like, yeah, whatever, I'll get to you when I get to you. Shut up. Don't make me turn this car around. But a lot of it is dependent on the community. And so I hope to be a part of that community, but when I'm developing, it's a little bit harder. Blah, blah, blah. Broken record, repeat. Do you think DD will land in the next 4 weeks? No. No chance. No chance. He has to... He's promoting Animal Farm full-time. With promoting Animal Farm full-time, we've been pushed back about 4 to 5 months. Again, in the software world, that's normal. But he said, I don't think I'm going to do that idea. 2, oh yeah, I'm taking a look at it, and the guys are working hard at the code. He said Drip UI was done in like November or December. It's April. It's March. So I don't think there's a chance to do that. However, even if he shows that he's working on Drip, people are going to come back. He's just not interested in doing it. I don't know why. His choice. But while we're going, please, he's like, I know you guys made me, but think about it. I made you first, which is completely fair. So I don't think he's going to rush to us. Work's looking more professional, 100% more professional. Cole said, agreed, Mitchell. He sounded pretty good yesterday. Drip to the moon. Exactly, Mitchell. Cole said, did you notice that the garden was not on the mock-up in the AMA yesterday? It was replaced with games. I saw Driptopian talk about that, but I didn't pay attention to it. I just noticed that the dog's price was like way higher than it is. But did you notice the dog's price went up? That said something about his promotions. And I kind of pushed a little bit more towards dogs this week with some of my drip because I'm like, I don't know if it's going to stay that low. Based on the mechanisms that we have in place, since it is working like it's supposed to, dogs, people are just sleeping on them. And the fact that they're giving you residual income immediately, no matter what the price is, please. Mitchell said Animal Farm has funding, Drip doesn't at the minute. Correct. But there are a lot of people who are going to be like me, who are going to have Max Wallet soon. Like there's a wave of us who didn't have 1 billion people promoting us, so we didn't get to the wallet max. But a lot of us are getting there, and that's going to change the dynamic for Drip as well, because a lot of those people, us, we've had to wait, so we can kind of control a lot of the pot. And that's different than the people who were truly just going for profit only and sell. James Peloton made no qualms about it. He sells. He said, I sell all the time. So Mitchell also said, I got out of garden a while back, put it in the faucet. Good idea. Well, I think I would have put it in the farm, an animal farm. I think pigs will fly too. Agreed. We've seen enough in DeFi space. When crypto goes down, it stays down. It doesn't go up and down like that unless it's going to stay. Take a look at Phantom. Phantom was at $3. Phantom went down to 20 cents. It's back to 40 cents. That's what we're looking at. Phantom doesn't have a utility. Drip is more like its own blockchain. It's got its own. That's why we kind of have to feed it. So I think when I look at them, Phantom and Drip are kind of in the same space. People, oh, it was $100. Even at these prices, Max Wallet will pay 30,000 exactly. 30,000 pounds is what he said. Cole said they should both do pretty well once PLINKO is released. It's pretty hard to imagine not doing well with the way. Yes, with the way the game looks, and the fact that you'll be able to play it on your phone. I'm looking at the time because I do have to do Meals on Wheels, but that's still got an hour. Man, that's a lot of bank for maxed out wallet. Imagine if it goes even $5. It is. I just believe it is. I just think it is. You know, there's no doubt that there's a utility here. We're not stupid. Yep, 1 equals 100. I don't know it. $1 equals 100,000. Oh, okay, so you're saying correct. So that's it, guys. Thanks to our co-hosts, Cole and Mitchell, for showing up yesterday. I look forward to talking to you next Thursday about what I did over the week to build that app. I'm really in the closing stages of it now, but that authentication mechanism, that was tough. It was really tough. But there are certain things I wanted to do, and I tried to use AI, but AI was understanding. I had to do research to help AI, and then once I got that in, it started working for me. I said, ha ha ha, I should start dressing better if I'm a co-host. Yep, our co-roving reporters, I think that's what you remember, the fedora. I'll get in early next week. Okay. And check out the Thursday show as well. When are we going to get a sneak look at this app, Potter? I hope to show it next week. But remember, guys, it's a simple app. It's the code that's behind it that's making it epic. I had to use state, and I had to create a Redux and use a Redux store for this to work well. So what I did yesterday was I put in the basics so that I could log in and it would give me the session ID. But what I did was I started capturing the object. I used the object to put that in a store, in a Redux store, and now I can access those variables without having to sacrifice security of data and use it in the session, which is crazy. If you didn't understand me and you turned off, sorry about that, but it's really efficient. And it's so funny, I learned about all that theory and I didn't realize how to use it until I had to use it. And now I'm like, oh, that's what that tag's for. Oh, that's what that does. Okay. But definitely AI helps when you go, what does that mean? So next week, hopefully I can show you more. I love you guys. Game on.